Welcome back to the show. We're going to make our good friend Lance Morin really, really proud because he loves being on television. He had his own show here on Rogers TV, and better yet, he holds some amazing events here in Ottawa called FANATICCON. And here to tell us more about it is actor, producer, writer, mentor. I don't even know. She wears so many. Mom. BOA wearer. Abby Hagyard joining me here on the show, and you're going to be part of FANATICCON. But before we get to FANATICCON, I want to find out about you. What have you been up to lately? Because you just told me you recently moved back to Ottawa.
I moved away because you know how show business is. It's like riding the waves. I moved away and I wrote books, and I wrote for other people.
Right.
I became a ghost.
A ghostwriter.
A ghostwriter.
Look at you.
It was really cool.
I can imagine.
The thing is that they pay you money, and then they teach you everything they know. And about 3/4 of the way through the process, they realize they just paid you to learn everything that they know.
That's fantastic. I'm going to look into this ghostwriting. But let's talk about your background, because I just said you've worn so many hats. You've been in the industry for so long. Tell us a little bit about your start in the television.
Well, son, at the very beginning, it was before we had electricity, you know. And
I fell into show business.
You just fell into it?
I fell into show business. People kept saying, I don't suppose you'd be interested in doing that. And I would say, do you pay money? And they would say yes. And I would say, is it legal? And they would say yes. And then I'd do it. Yeah.
People probably recognize you from You Can't Do That on Television. Well, those of us that are, my age, which is, in our 50s now.
That's cartoon me.
Look at this. This is cartoon Abby on the hat here. That's fantastic.
Does it look like me?
It does.
Does it look like me?
Yeah, absolutely. How did you get that role? Tell me about that.
So it's unfortunately she's here. And it's the dumbest story. So my friend Carol Hay, who coached all the kids, the reason that show was a genius show, aside from Les Lie, is Carol Hay is a brilliant acting coach. So she had coached the kids, and Ruth Buzzy was not coming back.
Okay.
So she called me and she said, so it's called You Can't Do That on Television. It's a children's show and you should audition. And I said, I don't do children. Why would I do children?
Yeah.
And she said, this much a day. And I said, suffer the children. And so
and so there it began.
Well, no, he wasn't interested. Roger is only interested in the children and Les Lie writing and stuff. But I accidentally showed up in a car that he was fixated on. It was a Volkswagen Thing, and Roger's English, and he had history with the war, and he talked about my car all the way to lunch, all the way through lunch, all the way back from lunch, and I'm beginning to think, well, okay, I guess I didn't want the show, but now
just likes the car.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
So at the end, I said, "What about the audition?" He said, "For what?" And I said, "For the children's show. I don't know if I." And he said, "Oh, that. Oh, yes. Do you smoke?" And I said, "No." And he said, "Right. Well, come Monday."
Really? That was.
I swear to God.
I love it. What a great start. All right, let's get to FANATICCON. Our good friend Lance is probably like, "Would you talk about my event?
Please talk about my show.
Tell me about this amazing event."
Lance, by the way, said, "Don't forget to talk about you." And I said, "Oh, okay, hon." So Lance Morin and his buddy, what do we call Sebastian, the logistics guy?
Okay.
They are collectors of toys and vintage stuff, and it is their thing, it's their passion. And so they kept saying, if we ever did a show, it would be this way. We would celebrate the vendors, we would celebrate the people, it would be all killer, no filler. None of this, we got to fill more booths and make more money.
Right, affordable, right, for those attending, for exhibitors.
Cool stuff, really great vintage things, fabulous toys. And so that has been the plan all along. So this is year 4. And the only difference, the thing that has changed slightly, and everybody's talking about fame today, so it was a great kind of segue for me. Fame morphs as we do. And so the people who are now coming to FANATICCON, they still are this guy. They still are that girl.
Yeah.
But now they're coming because they've fallen in love with the way Lance is doing it. So it has become a family in its own right. It's not merely that. It's become a place where people who are evolving feel welcome. And one of the great things, for instance, one of our celebrities is Ken Sagos, who is a thriller, scary movie guy. But he's now got his own new comic book.
Oh, really? So is this some of his stuff here?
Yeah, these two are him.
Okay.
So he's been well known for what he does as an actor, but now he's got to convince people that he knows how to write So Socrates is his cartoon, is his comic. And so,
awesome.
yeah, so he's going to be in the booth beside me, poor guy. And then, of course, Kurt Lehner, who does Marvel illustrations for Marvel Comics. Well, what he does there is he makes the whole thing a family thing, and he does caricatures for you.
Really?
So, yeah.
So he'll like turn you into like a superhero?
Pretty much.
Oh my gosh, that is so cool.
So the whole idea, and then of course there's cosplaying, and if you win, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls,
Hold on, I gotta show
this
this to
heavy
camera.
duty,
Look at
this is the Cosplay FANATICCON champion belt.
Championship belt.
That's it.
So there's like like a fashion show of sorts,
absolutely.
right?
There's 2 layers, one for little ones, and then this is for the adults, and they come up on the stage, and there's music playing, you know, and they do their whole thing, and the judges are there from last year and the year before, and you win not only the chance to wear this thing, but you get your own booth the following year.
Really?
And you become a judge. So it's elevating, it's fame coming into its own thing.
And he has some personalities that are going to be there as well, right? Alongside your, well, yes, we know you're going to be there.
Yeah, shut up, Abby.
Some other personalities will be there too, right?
Yes, and so, but you see, the vendors become personalities.
Right.
At a show like this, everybody is the celebrity, and so is the guest. So the only things that I'm bringing, in addition to turning everybody famous the minute they walk in my booth, everybody gets a feather boa.
Nice.
Everybody, I have 2 paparazzi.
Okay.
Everybody gets lots of pictures.
Fantastic.
I get their autographs. I turn everybody famous the minute they walk into my booth.
What a great idea.
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
When they walk out, I had John Major last year, the photographer.
Yeah.
He said, I've never seen so many people transported. It's like they were like 10 feet taller when they left your booth. And I said,
That's awesome. Right? So there'll be figurines that everybody will recognize.
There will be
Ninja Turtles.
There will be some, you can't do that
right
on
now.
television stuff.
So you got some, can't do that on television swag you're going to be giving away. There'll be board games, comic books, artists.
What would Valerie Prevert do?
Oh, look at that. I've got to show this one. Okay.
Is that fabulous?
I grew up watching. You can't do this on television. This is amazing.
And I have Care Bear stuff, the shirts, and I have, can you believe Care Bear's Monopoly?
Well, yes, I can, because Monopoly does everything. Listen, I got to tell everybody where it's happening. Ottawa Conference and Event Center, August 13th, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. You're going to have a fabulous time. We'll be back with more. Kids are free. We'll be back with more after this.